Hi, folks. Andrew here. Popcorn and whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. Our celebratorial salute. Here we go. A nice. Honestly, I don't even know what it is tonight. Some concoction I put together. Yep, and we'll leave it at that. I'll put it together and we'll leave it at that. One of these days I'm going to get that squeak fixed just for you guys. I guess I could do it really quickly. If I just go in the other room, get a little bit of spray something on there, but hey, eventually I'll remember it when I'm not on air. So wow, what a freaking week this has been. What 2 weeks it has been. It's almost as if more people are upset today, especially on one side of the aisle, about somebody getting, what was the word, temporarily laid off, basically. If you want to call it getting fired, call it getting fired. Seems like more people on that side of the aisle are upset about that than somebody getting executed on basically in front of thousands of people live on air while it was being filmed, which just baffles my mind. First of all, if that's you and you know who I'm talking about, finger of shame, man. You're a low life. You're lower than low at that point. Yeah. And so, which brings up the whole free speech topic, which we want to get into today a little bit. Okay. First of all, I want to make this perfectly clear. I am for anybody saying anything anytime they want to. Okay. Now, that being said, have a little bit of class about yourself. Have a little bit of adultness about yourself. Certain situations you don't want to go cussing up a storm. For instance, if you're in church, you don't want to start cussing up a storm. Is it your right to do so? Sure. Should you? I would venture to say you shouldn't do it. Some people claim that it's their right, which it is. It's your right to do so. But would you expect somebody to do it? No. Okay. So when it comes to the free speech, I'll stand beside you 100% to defend your right to speak whatever is on your mind in the United States of America. Outside of here, don't know so much. Don't know all the rules. Okay. That being said, I am also all for you. And when I say you, I'm including myself as well. So anybody who wants to portray or wants to what's the word I'm looking for here? Wants to not utilize, wants to use the power of the First Amendment, use their freedom, so to speak, to say whatever they want to say. And somebody doesn't like it, they don't have to keep associating with you at all. Now, whether that's a husband, wife, friend, stranger, employer, yeah. If you start bad mouthing, if I come on here and start bad mouthing my employer, would my employer have the right to make me unemployed? Yeah, absolutely. It is my right to say whatever I want to write, what I want to say, but it's also their right and responsibility to make it so I'm not associated with that company anymore. I don't know why that's so hard for folks to understand, especially with this Jimmy Kimmel thing. Now, do I think he's a low-life piece of shit? Absolutely. The way he portrayed it? Absolutely. Do I care for the man? No. Have I met the man? No, I don't know him personally, so I can't say I dislike the individual. I dislike how he comes across and what he says. Absolutely, I do. But I will defend him to be able to do that if he wants to. Then people say, yeah, but he's not able to anymore because of the employer ABC. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? Quit being a little bitch about it. It's just that simple. If ABC does not want that on their airways, shouldn't they be able to say, sorry, we don't want that on the airways? Right? So if Kimmel or anybody, let's just keep it a Kimmel since we're doing that. If he comes on there, and because he's done this before and no one was up in arms about it, but I'll say it now. If he comes out there in blackface, should he be able to stay on the air doing that? That's his freedom of speech, right? Freedom of expression. If he comes on there and starts cussing up a storm, should ABC keep him on? You know, you're screaming freedom of speech, but then you're bitching because he's no longer there. Well, which one is it? Do you want him to have the freedom of speech, or do you want, or should ABC not be able to pursue what they want to pursue? Think about it. If you're an individual, you'd want to be able to say what you want to say, right? When you get pissed off at work, or your boss shortchanged you, or something happens at work, why don't you come on here and do a TikTok on how bad your boss was, how bad your work is? Why don't you do that? Because I don't want to get fired. Well, if it's freedom of speech, why should you get fired for it? That's what people aren't understanding. The company, the employer, the business, however you want to term it, they have the right and they have the obligation to develop business, right? If you are doing something that's going to hinder their ability to conduct business or their ability to increase business, why would they want to keep you? Same thing with Kimmel. His ratings are going lower and lower all the time. If you watch ratings, would I love to have his ratings? Absolutely, I'd love to have his ratings. So I'm not bitching about that whatsoever. But I'm also not getting, what is it, 10 million a year, 20 million a year, whatever he's making. I'm not making that. So he is. So don't you think the network wants to protect his ability to earn? And so to do that, they say, hey, dude, you need to back off a little bit on things you're saying, because they're extremely inappropriate and extremely untasteful. And you're now alienating a lot more people than you were before. I don't know if we can continue having that as our business. So guess what? We're gonna give you a little bit of time off to think about what you're doing. All right. And people are up in arms. They're up in arms. Oh my gosh, he can't exercise his freedom of speech. Okay. All right. If you're one of the people saying this, which I'm sure people are going to be watching this, unfortunately, not all the people who should be watching this are watching this. If you're the person that says, well, he shouldn't be fired because it's his freedom of speech, okay. Were you one of the ones who were jumping for joy when Tucker Carlson got canned? Yeah. Did you defend Tucker Carlson's right to free speech like you're defending Jimmy Kimmel? Probably not. I was on the employer side on both of these. I say the person who is speaking has the freedom of speech to say whatever they want to, but the employer also has the freedom to fire somebody based on stuff. And guess what? They did. All right. You say, yeah, but that's an isolated incident. It doesn't happen very often. Okay. Let me give you another one. What about Roseanne Barr? Remember that? She retweeted somebody's tweet. She retweeted it. And you all got up in arms and pissed off, and she needs to be canceled, blah, 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 blah. Well, next thing you know, within a couple of weeks, she was written off of her own show. They killed her off by being a drug head or something like that. Right? Okay. Did anybody defend her? The people who are defending Jimmy Kimmel now, were they defending Roseanne back then? No, you're picking and choosing. I defend Jimmy Kimmel from saying that what he has the right to say what he says. I defend Roseanne having the right to say what she says, even if it's not hers, even if she posted from somebody else. But I'm also saying that the employers have an obligation to their shareholders, to their advertisers, to get as many eyeballs on their product as possible. And when you start doing stuff that's making it so the eyeballs aren't on the product, guess what? You're no longer an asset, you're a liability. Goodbye. It is that simple, folks. It is that simple. Still don't believe me? Okay. Those of you who have kids in school, what if you follow one of the teachers here on social media? Teacher comes on like I'm doing here and starts saying F this, F that, and throwing the N word out. It doesn't matter what race they are, but throwing the N word out and bad mouth and all kinds of other things. Would you want your child going to that school? Would you want your child to be taught by that person? Hey, it's their freedom of speech. They can say it, right? But now you're in a position where, hey, do I want my child to be taught by that kind of person? I don't know. Do you? Same kind of concept. Same thing at a doctor's office. Let's say, okay, I'm Italian. All right. I hear I'm out in my doctor comes online, starts saying, "Hey, you Dago Wop POS, blah 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 blah." Do I want to keep going to that doctor? I just fired my doctor. Yeah, what? He has the freedom of speech to do it, So I should continue to go to that particular doctor. You tell me. And if you say, well, there's a big difference. Okay, what is the difference between the two? Between my scenarios I just said and the Jimmy Kimmel thing, what is the difference? They'll say, yeah, but Trump has influence. So what? Trump can't make the decision to fire somebody on network television. And where were you when the shoes were on the opposite foot? When President Biden was there and all the stuff that he was doing. Why didn't you say something then? Yeah. Okay. So don't say this is a political thing. What it boils down to is money. What it boils down to is you're either an asset or a liability for the company you represent or the company you work for. Right? I have an online business I call Top Fitness Strategies. I am sure there are people who don't follow me or want nothing to do with me because of my views on popcorn and whiskey. I accept that. All right. I understand that could be a hindrance to my financial future and with Top Fitness Strategies. I get it. Does that mean I don't have my freedom of speech? No, I have my freedom of speech with popcorn and whiskey. Do I carry all my sentiments from popcorn and whiskey onto Top Fitness Strategies? Absolutely not. But again, I understand when people choose not to pursue that avenue based on things that I say here. And let's make it really clear. If you haven't seen the hat right there, I am 100% MAGA all the way, 100% Charlie Kirk all the way. If you don't like it, that's on you. Okay. I haven't said a thing that's going to offend you. I say things that piss you off. Absolutely. Remember, being offended by something is a choice you have. You choose whether you're offended by something or not. I open this up, and right now, I'll tell you what, if somebody wants to call in and talk to me about this, they can. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I get this right so we can do that. I'll open it up for discussions if someone wants to call in. Okay, here, do this. Do this. Wait a second here. Okay, share the screen. Okay, do that one. Come there, do this. Right side. There we go. Okay. So if somebody wants to call in now and talk to me. All right, here. Let's see here. Call line. Okay, yeah. I have what I call a 10-minute call line. Save. Show. There you go. 10-minute call line. You want to call in? Talk to me? Great. I'll even make it so if you want to come on as a guest, let me know. Just shoot me a quick message, and I will be glad to have you come on and we can talk about this. There are several people out there that are bragging about debating. I don't want to sit here and say I'm a good debater on this subject, but let's talk about it. And I will say this much: if you're gonna come on my show and you're gonna get angry or belligerent or offensive or something like that, you're not going to stay long. If you want to come in and have a polite conversation, we'll talk for longer than 10 minutes probably. But keep that in mind. So I'm throwing that out there to anybody. If you call and let me know, because I think I got this all set up. I hope I got this all set up. But and if you want to come on the show, I'll tell you what, I'll even do this. I'll post a link here. Okay, come on the show. No, I'll tell you what, if you want to come on the show, you contact me first. Because here's the deal. I don't want some random Joe Schmo coming on here and then taking up the time. Well, I guess I could, because I can always kick the random Joe Schmo out of here. Okay, we'll leave it like it is. Let me have a sip of the whiskey here. Heck, I don't have my popcorn with me. Thursday night, I don't have my popcorn. Oh well. And for those who are wondering, yes, I changed my microphone out from the other one I had. A little bit of a tech talk here. I got the what's it called? F-Deuce SL50, with this one, and I took out the Behringer XM8500 the other day. So I don't know if I sound a little different to you or not. In my headphones, I do on my recordings. This one has a little bit lower bass to it, a little bit lower sound, but also it picks up a little more. So you have the room atmosphere as well on here. But again, that's when I have when I record after I have my microphone on. So there you go. And another thing about this setup, I can't hear myself through this. That's weird. When you're used to doing that, it's weird. Okay, so the freedom of speech, going back to that. Yeah, if you're pissed off about Kimmel being fired, for lack of a better term, I'd love to talk to you. Let's find out why. Okay, if you're happy he's being fired, I'd love to find out why as well. I'm neither happy nor pissed off about it. I understand it. I understand why he was. I don't have a dog in the fight. Like I said, I don't know Kimmel. Not nowhere near any of his stuff that he does. And do I watch him? No, I don't. I got bored with him a long time ago when he quit being funny. I got bored with him a long time ago when all he wanted to do was bash on a certain political figure. It's all he did. And people wonder why they get their ratings drop. It's real simple, folks. It is extremely simple, but no one wants to. No one on one side of the aisle wants to understand it. But it is very simple. It's very and here's what it boils down to. Yes, you have the right to say whatever you want to say, but you don't have the right to keep your job. Sorry, you don't. The employers have the responsibility. The employer has a fiscal responsibility to generate money for the business, whether it's the company, whether it's employee owned or single person owned, what have you. And you're either going to be liability to make money, or you're going to be an asset. Simple as that. If you come on here and start bad mouthing people left and right, saying crude, obnoxious, stupid things in public, if you're going to go into a church and start cussing up a storm or going up there wanting to pick a fight or yelling at the at the reverend, the preacher, whatever the term you want to use is, it's your right to do so. I would prefer you didn't do it in church, but your right to do so. But is it appropriate? You tell me. I say that I've been saying that for a while now. Is that appropriate to do? I don't know. Well, I guess I do know it is not appropriate to do. You shouldn't do that. Okay, wait a second here. What happened there? Okay, there we go. Okay. I guess people didn't know I was on air. Isn't that interesting? Okay, if you're watching me now, hello, how you doing? Okay, there we go. That's more like it. All right. Part of it until now, people weren't watching, but yeah. So all you who are bitching about freedom of speech is gone in this country, you're wrong. It is thriving more so than ever. Look at all the live streams going on. Look at all the TikToks, all the reels, all the whatever you want to call them going on. People are posting the dumbest things, the smartest things, the most educational things, the most downright despicable things, and they're not getting taken down. Why? Because it's freedom of speech. Now, are there consequences? Probably. Absolutely. Are there consequences to what I do here? Yeah. And I don't really get into a whole lot of controversial stuff, but other people feel it's controversial, which I don't get. They're a bunch of little baby wusses, if you ask me. So if that's you, if you're a little baby, if you're a little wussy about it, come on, let's talk about it. Yeah, and I just called you out. Yes, I think you're a little baby. I think you're a little wussy. If you feel like freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Yeah, I wish it could be put on this that I'm slurring tonight, but it's not. I've only had about that much, and believe me, that much isn't going to do anything to me. Not at this point in my life. Hey, what's up, JD? How you doing, bro? Thought you was going to be doing a watch along with the football stuff tonight. Yeah. So, yeah. I'll tell you what, my friend. I will send you a quick message if you want to come on with me. We can chit chat a little bit. All right, here. Let me get to it here. Let's see here. Let me find you again here. There you are. Okay. I'm gonna have to start calling this the popcorn, whiskey, and JD show after a while, because you come on here. If you want to come on, great. If not, I'm not forcing you to come on or anything. But if you want to come on, we're talking a little bit about free speech and how that all works out. And all right, Holmes. JD said he'll come on anytime. All right, Holmes. Okay, here. Let's see. Where is that? I'd have to get rid of this. Let's see. Can I get you on here? All right. Hold on a second there, JD. I got to figure this out here. Okay. I got to stop sharing. Get you on here. Where you at? There we are. Okay. There we are.
Hey.
Again, now I got to get the right background so people know what's going on here. So, what's up, my friend? What's happening?
Good. I just got done with a live stream on the Boiling Point podcast. We were covering the West Shore School District School Board meeting here locally in central Pennsylvania. So I literally just got done with that about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. Well, that ties into a little bit of what I said earlier about free speech. So let me ask you this about the board meetings. And I'm going to assume you and I are the same mindset with this, but I don't want to make any major assumptions with this. Are you a believer, or not, what's the right word I'm looking for? Do you feel anybody can go up at the and speak their mind at the school board meeting?
I think, as far as I know, the law is that if you pay taxes in a school district, you are allowed to attend a school board meeting and have your voice be heard. Okay. So if you live, it doesn't matter if you have kids in a school district or not. If you pay taxes in that school district, you have a right to be heard at that school board meeting.
You're wrong. You're right. No, and I'll tell you where you're wrong. Nobody in this country anywhere has the right to be heard. Nobody does. Everybody has the right to say whatever they want to, but you do not have the right for somebody to listen to you. So you do not have the right to be heard. You have the right to speak. And at a board meeting, people are there, so they're going to hear you, so they will listen to you. But you do not have the right to be heard.
You're right. I said the wrong words. You're absolutely right. Thank you for correcting me on that.
I'm not saying that in a mean way, but a lot of people don't get that. It's
important to be accurate. Yeah, it's important to be accurate. Please, dude, I'm not one of those people where if you correct me, I'm going to be like, oh, don't keep correcting me on air. No, please. If I say something incorrectly, that's the only way, we don't want people to have the wrong information. Mm-hmm. So you're absolutely right. You're right. So not the right to be heard. But anybody, if you live within a school board, then you can attend the school board meetings. If you pay taxes in a school district, then you are allowed to attend that school board meeting.
Okay, and you are allowed to speak, but you don't have the right for anybody to listen to you.
And again, well, you know what? Depending on the school boards, I mean, most school boards, like all school boards, as far as I've seen, have a place where they do allow public comments. I don't know that they actually have to allow public comments.
Okay,
but most school boards I've seen do allow public comments. But if you pay taxes in a school district, you are allowed to attend the meetings.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I've never attended a school board meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, like the West Shore School District. I don't live in the West Shore School District, so I could go as the media and cover the meeting as the media, as as my podcasting, as my company. I could cover it from the media perspective, but I actually can't. I can't, like, even if I filled out a card, I'm not allowed to speak at that meeting. I am not allowed to be heard at that meeting. I don't live in the school district, so they don't even let people who don't live in the school district speak, and I'm pretty sure that's for other local areas too. I don't know that that's for every school district, but
that makes sense. I mean, they don't want somebody from Seattle, Washington, going down to Englewood, Florida, and say something. No, it makes it's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb. So, all right. So I've been talking about free speech this whole time, with the Jimmy Kimmel thing happening and everything else.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is, and I don't know if yours is like this or not, you and I have the right to come on my podcast, your podcast, do a reel, go out to the street, whatever, and say whatever we want to say.
Yep.
However we want to say it, good, bad, indifferent. But what we say, there will be consequences. If you own a company, right? Your media.
The Boiling Point. You have the Boiling Point podcast and Mayhem Media. Yeah, they're they're not like official companies yet, but yes, they're small businesses that we're trying to start up. Yep.
Okay. So if somebody, one of your representatives of your company, comes on not your show, but on their own podcast, on their own show, whatever, and starts using derogatory terms, and I use this as my example because I'm Italian. They come on here and say that effing dago wop, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They have every right to say it. But you as an employer or as the general manager or whatever, as the business owner, you have the right to say, hey, I don't want that kind of person representing my company.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And people, that's one thing. Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing people don't seem to realize, is that because they think it's cancel culture. No, it's not the same thing. No. Cancel culture is when you're trying to get a bunch of people to boycott something so that your employer will fire you because all the people don't want to. When what's happening to Jimmy Kimmel is he said something that the owners of the station did not appreciate, nor did they agree with. And because they own the company, they can do whatever they want. They can say, okay, Jimmy, thanks for your comments, and you're done now. So, which is exactly what happened. And yes, that is the way it's a private, especially if it's a privately owned company.
Yep.
When you get into publicly owned, then it's actually even worse when you get into publicly owned companies.
Yeah.
Because then you're even more under the microscope. But when you're in a privately owned company, yeah, you can, if somebody says something, and people don't realize this, it's the same way for football teams. People think that football players have the right to go out there and kneel during the national anthem. They think they have the right to go out there and say whatever they want to the media. Yeah, you do have that right. And the owner has the right to say, you're done on my football team if you take a knee again.
Yep.
And if you say if you go out there and spew this kind of stuff again, you are done on my football team. The owners have the same exact right. Football teams, football stadiums are not a public place. It's not the public library. It's not the common square.
Mm-hmm.
That stadium is owned by the team, by the privately owned team. Even if it has public ownerships, like a bank or something is a partial owner, it still qualifies as a privately owned business. Even if if there's some public ownership of it, it's still a privately owned business.
Yep.
So the owners can decide what they want, when they want, and you don't have a say. The government of the United States does not have a say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the people who are bitching about, well, it was Trump's buddy that got him fired. No, Jimmy Kimmel got Jimmy Kimmel fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Trump's buddy had nothing to do with it.
Jimmy Kimmel was fired before 50% of his audience even knew what had happened. He was fired.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't one of those things where we, the people, got together and decided to cancel him. That was the owner of the company saying, nope, you're done. I don't care what the people have to say. Mm-hmm. He didn't wait for the people to see if it was a good move or not. The owner of the company did not like it and made a business decision.
Yeah, I said this earlier. For a company, whether it's a privately owned or publicly owned, whatever, you're either a liability or you're an asset. Once you become a liability, guess what? They're looking at ways to replace you or get rid of you. He was definitely getting a liability. His ratings were going down, and what he said recently didn't help matters at all. And they were going the opposite way. So the company says, you know what? Before this gets way out of hand and people really stop watching, guess what? We're just going to say goodbye. It's simple as that. And
that's the other thing.
People don't get it. It baffles me. It's simple.
It is simple. And not just what he said. It wasn't just what he said. He was also giving false information, completely wrong information. I mean, it's one thing to say what you want. Oh, maybe you didn't like Charlie Kirk. Fine. Not everybody has to like Charlie Kirk. And no one's yelling at anybody else because there are people that don't like Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. All we're saying is maybe be a person, maybe be a human being about it.
Yep. And once you find out what you said was true, was false, you should come back the next day and say, hey, what I said last night was wrong. Sorry. I'm going to correct it and let's move on. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You've done it. I've done it. Yeah. We both done it before. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've absolutely had to do retractions on the Boiling Point podcast. I've said something that I thought was correct that I later found out wasn't right information. Sometimes it's a matter of commenting before the right information has come out. That's a mistake that I try not to make. Sometimes I looked up the wrong information and I didn't verify. I mean, there's any number of things that can happen. It can happen to anybody. All right. It can happen to anybody. But the point is, when you make a mistake, you got to stand up and say, oh man, I made a mistake. I apologize for that. This is not the case, and correct yourself. And maybe when it comes to like the death of somebody, maybe hold off until you make sure you have all the facts before you.
But they won't. The media, most media places don't do that.
You're absolutely right. We did an episode. Me and Pastor Gavin did an episode about the life and death of Charlie Kirk, just talking about the facts that we had right now, and made it clear to people we're talking about the facts that we have right now. There's a lot of questions still to be asked. And then one of my teammates did a small thing. It was more of a tribute and a remembrance of him than more about what had happened and stuff. So there's ways to handle things, you know what I mean? And even now people want us to do another one. And I'm like, no, we're not yet. Until there's more information, we're not going to do more. Like, we're not going to, I'm sorry, but I'm also like, I was disturbed by Charlie Kirk's death. It's affected me.
Oh yeah.
All right. Like this is what I do. This is some of what I do for a living too. You know what I mean? So like it definitely, like, it really kind of shook me and really made me think about, like, man, you can be shot for just saying things online now. You can be shot for just saying things out on the street now. You got to, you really got to be aware of that. And that's what I was going to say. You got to be aware of that now. It's dangerous out there.
Let me take a little bit of a detour here, because you brought up a little bit ago about the NFL players kneeling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of the only sports that I know of who the athletes or the participants or the major players, however you want to look at it, get coached on what to say and how to say it and in what order to say everything are the NASCAR guys. Especially the new NASCAR guys. I mean, you don't go to an interview, you don't hear them on an interview excuse me, excuse me. You don't not, especially the newer guys, the younger guys. Every interview that they have, they're going to name all their sponsors. I don't care what question they get asked.
Nope.
They're going to say, yeah, my, my Pennzoil Chevy, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say, oh, that ran great today, and we had some bad luck, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you've seen it as much as I have, where a reporter asks some off-the-wall question, and they start talking about their pick through and their.
So you rolled your car 20 times down the front stretch. How do you feel about this person getting into the back of you? Well, my Pennzoil Castrol GTX, McDonald Ford Fusion was running great today, and if we hadn't got into some of that 76 racing fuel and our Goodyear Eagle tires hadn't gotten slick, then we probably wouldn't have spun out and flipped over on this home improvement grass sod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are coached about what sponsors are saying now. The more veteran folks, one that comes to mind now, I don't know, you don't watch as much as I do anymore, but Denny Hamlin is one who goes off script quite a bit, but he's earned the right to do so. Yeah,
I loved when Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, Dale Earnhardt, he's the master.
One of my favorite interviews was with Dale Earnhardt. They would come up to him and they'd say, Dale Earnhardt, that was a heck of a race, or how are you feeling after that win? And or Dale Jr., I think at one point said the same thing. He said, I don't give a damn what about your question. I just won the race. I'm having fun.
That's
and
right.
He went back to what he was doing. Like he didn't care.
I'm drinking beer tonight, he said, or something. Yeah. I remember saying
we're drinking a lot of Budweisers tonight.
We're drinking a lot of Budweisers tonight. Yeah. And that's expected of NASCAR guys. But once again, they are coached. I would assume all professional athletes are coached, but not to that extent. Because they don't all have sponsors that they're counting on.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is one thing that makes NASCAR, interviews and stuff. I'm sorry. Back in the day when I was a fan, I used to like interviews. I used to like hearing Jimmy Spencer talk smack because he didn't like how someone wrecked him into the wall. I liked Tony Stewart going off on somebody because he didn't appreciate the way they were driving. Dale Earnhardt, he didn't really use many words. He would just put you in the wall and then, enjoy the win. Yep. So, but we don't have that now. The sport's changed. And I think a lot of that did begin when we lost Dale Earnhardt. And I think that's when a lot of the sport did start to change. I don't think we'd have the sport we would have today if we still have.
Of course not. No. Yeah. So now, but yeah, it's just all under the umbrella of free speech, folks, because who's out there listening? Because we have a few more listeners than usual right now, which is good. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Feel free to comment. Give us a couple of questions if you want to. You got myself and you got JD from the Boiling Point podcast, Boiling Point Media, or Mayhem Media, I should say. So your company is called Mayhem Media, correct?
I have two. It's Mayhem Media. That's just entertainment, and that's separate from the Boiling Point podcast.
Oh, I thought they flew under the same umbrella. Okay.
I know everybody thinks that, and it's because I own it, and there's no reason there. It's not an unreasonable thing to think. Only if you absolutely hate what I say on the Boiling Point podcast does it actually matter. But technically, for technical purposes, they are separate entities. I'm me, and some of the other people who work on both are the only connection, and they have different roles. Mayhem Media is for entertainment. It's to be entertained and to let all the other stuff in life go for a half an hour or an hour, or however much time that you want to enjoy our programming.
Like Popcorn and Whiskey is like that with me. I got Popcorn and Whiskey, then I have Top Fitness Strategies, which is my online fitness business that I do. So, and I said earlier before you came on, JD, like I am sure I have said some stuff on Popcorn and Whiskey, which has turned people off, which has cost me business on Top Fitness Strategies. That's my choice. It's my company. Both of them are my company.
Absolutely.
If Top Fitness Strategies was run by somebody else and they didn't like what I said and they said, Drew, we're going to let you go. I get it. I understand because they may lose business because of things that I say. I get it. And it's the same thing with like we're talking about. I don't know how else we can talk about this. You're either an asset or you're a liability. Which are you going to do? Which are you going to be for the company? And the bigger the company,
you're absolutely right.
The more scrutinized you are. A little company like what I have right now, well, like you have, we're not as scrutinized as much. maybe we would like to get exposure for the wrong reason instead of non-exposure for the right reason. Yeah, maybe if I said something controversial and I get 100,000 followers, all of a sudden I might like that. I don't care if the other 100,000 don't like it. It's 999,000 more than what I got.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what, like if people, they're separate entities, but if you're not capable of seeing that, and we've lost quite a number of people that wanted to work or that were working with us and collaborating with Mayhem Media because of the Boiling Point podcast. And for other reasons that they want to make claims about, but are not true. But that's just the way it is. If they don't want to do that, that's their decision. It's their company. I don't have any control over the decisions they make.
Right.
They can make their bad decisions and I'll move on.
But it all boils down to, yes, you have the right. When I say you, I mean you, me, anybody out there. You have the right to go online, to go in the street, to do whatever and say whatever you want to. We see that every day with the reels and TikToks and stuff like that. We see a lot of stupid people out there. Yes, I said stupid. Deal with it. All kinds of people like that. They have the right to do so. But don't be bitching when the rest of your life doesn't go as you planned because of something stupid that you did or said.
Yeah, the freedom of speech only protects you against repercussions from the government.
Yes.
Not from each other or your place of business.
Right. Well, also, and maybe this is a far reach with government, and I'll go back to my example before. If I come in here and said all Italians are dumb dago wops, well, guess when I want to run for office, guess what? Chances are I probably wouldn't get the Italian vote. Chances are I wouldn't get it. So can't say it's protected from government because that's loose on that one there, but because
I guess it's protection from you. The government can't come after you for what you say,
right?
Of course, freedom of speech. And people are going to say, of course, there's people out there going like, well, you can't yell fire in a theater and stuff. That's not speech. That's a crime,
right?
Okay, just like threatening someone is a crime. That's not freedom of speech. That's a crime.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yep. And I posted this earlier. I don't know if you saw it. It said the same people who were bitching about Jimmy Kimmel being fired are the same ones who were cheering when Tucker Carlson got fired.
Yep.
They're also the same ones who are cheering about Roseanne.
Yep.
Roseanne Barr when she got fired.
Yep.
They were the ones cheering about her. So my question to those folks are, what is the difference?
The difference is they don't agree with them. That's the difference.
I said the same thing about Tucker Carlson when he got canned. I said, his employer has every right to can him. His employer can do whatever they want to. I'm a firm believer of that. If you own the company, guess what? You can control who's worked for you and who doesn't. Good, bad, and different. That's best being an owner of a company. Would you like to go to a mechanic? Let's say, I'll go back to my example again. The stupid dago wop. If I hear a mechanic say that out in public somewhere, I don't like those wops, those dagos, blah blah blah. Why would I go to that mechanic? No, I wouldn't. I have fired my mechanic for that. It could be the best mechanic in town, but why would I go to them if I don't like the speech that they're saying?
Yeah,
they have every right to say it, but I have every right not to give that person my money.
That's why capitalism works.
Exactly.
Because you have the choice where to spend your money. You get to choose. And by that same definition, you get to choose. And while like we've said, people can say whatever they want. You know what I mean? But it protects you from the government, from repercussions from the government. But it doesn't protect you from repercussions from each other or from your place of business. If you're going to go out there and you say a bunch of stuff, expect to get fired. Expect for people not to feel sorry for you. Expect for people not to want to visit your page or visit your business if you happen to be a business owner.
Yep.
That's part of it.
Yep. And I've come on here and I know I've lost folks because I say this. I am 100% MAGA all the way.
Yep.
See my hat right there? 45, 47. Yep. I'm
Republican,
MAGA all the way.
Conservative. So, conservative constitutionalists. That's what I am. And that's if you don't want to, I've lost plenty of people. I've lost family members So
Really?
I've lost viewers, family members, friends from just getting online and saying what. That's the other thing too. Some of these people knew who I was before I ever started the Boiling Point podcast, but it
Okay.
wasn't until I started getting online and saying these things that it was a problem.
Here's the difference between, from what I see, the other side versus the side I'm on. If somebody doesn't like me because I'm on that side, then they leave me, so be it. That's great. If they come back to me and say, let's talk. All right, let's talk. No problem. But if it's the other way around, I go up to somebody who's not on my side and say, hey, let's talk. I don't want to effing talk to you, blah, 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 blah. What do you have to say? No. And it's exactly what Charlie Kirk was doing. Let's talk. You don't agree with me? That's fine. Let's talk.
And he would always quiet the people down when like when the crowd started booing or something, and he would be like, no, let them, let them talk, let them say their piece.
Mm-hmm. And I have yet to hear anybody because there's people all over the place saying that he was racist, homophobic, blah 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 blah. The typical calling card from the left. You know what that is. But no one's been able to come out and prove it.
No, because they can't. The only thing they can do is take his quotes out of context. That's the
absolutely,
only thing.
Yeah, absolutely they can, and that's it. Now, if I said stuff that people don't like, all the time, all the time.
Oh yeah, me too.
I've had people lie about me in the past, and I'm not gonna get into details, but I was not in a position where I could defend myself because of the position I was in.
I've watched it happen at the school board meetings. The ones I was just doing tonight. I've been because we don't talk during the school board meetings. It's a watch along, and then we commentate before and after, and we just let people watch. But yeah, people get on during the public comments and stuff, and we're referred to anytime you hear somebody say that podcast, I'm who they're talking about.
Ah, okay. I had a college a classmate of mine call me an asshole because I was on the MAGA side of things.
Yep.
And she says that we didn't go to the same school, blah, blah, blah. You should have learned this. You should have been a good person, blah, blah, blah. A better person. You should learn this. And just today, this particular person posted a tirade and went on and on and on about how Trump is an idiot, classless, and should be in jail, and blah, 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 blah. And then she goes on to badmouth other folks and do this and do that.
Yep.
I almost commented on there. I said, you know what? I thought you're supposed to be a better person. Like, why open up that can of worms?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
There's some people that aren't going to be reached. And there's just nothing you can do about it. It's craziness. It's just craziness. I don't know how people don't see behavior. It's just insanity to me.
Yep. Absolutely. So anyway, dude, what have you been up to? What's going on?
Not too much. Personally, I mean, just running the companies, just trying to get content made and get things, we had a little shakeup during my off time for the Mayhem Media side. We lost somebody, so we're picking up, doing a new show and stuff and replacing the one we lost.
Doing a new show. What kind of new show are you doing?
It's going to be it's just a replacement to the wrestling show that we're no longer doing. We're no longer doing the one wrestling show that we're doing, and we're making a new wrestling show that the one and only Connor Clarkson, shout out Connor Clarkson. He's going to be running it. He pretty much runs the wrestling side now. Connor Clarkson does. He's pretty much in charge of the wrestling division.
Okay.
He's pretty much runs all the wrestling content. We have the prediction show. We have our occasional watch alongs. And then now we have a bi-weekly kind of just talk show to talk about wrestling storylines and stuff. It's not to be like recap. It's not like a recap to talk about who won or who lost. It's like a talk show to talk about storylines and that type of thing.
Okay. Have you guys did your prediction show for this weekend yet for WWE and AEW? I guess both of them are happening this weekend.
Yeah, we're not doing prediction shows for AEW yet. Look for that potentially in 2026. We hope to be adding some AEW prediction shows to 2026 and even some watch-alongs in 2026. But Connor and our prediction specialist, the Wolfman, Jacob, will be filming tomorrow around lunchtime, I believe, tomorrow afternoon. And then they'll be posting it right after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you guys talked about the WWE and the ESPN deal at all?
As a company, not on the podcast. as a company, we have, because a lot of people are worried about how are we going to cover WWE and do all that and this, and with having to be all these places now, and I very simply told everybody, listen, Mayhem Media wasn't built by the WWE, wasn't built by our coverage of the WWE, and it won't die if we can't continue to cover the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody take a deep breath. WWE is making business decisions. We will either continue or we will pivot to something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, everybody's just got to take a deep breath. I know people are freaking out about. I'm certainly not going to go and pay for all the places that WWE is right now.
No, I'm not either. I'm a huge WWE fan, and I'm not doing it. So that being said, let me ask you, because I have an antenna, and I don't have any kind of cable service or satellite service. Do you have satellite or DirecTV, or what do you have?
No, we have a Comcast, Xfinity Comcast, and we don't get their TV. I have their internet, and then I use apps like Hulu, HBO Max.
The reason I say that is because on one of the WWE sites today, people were talking about ESPN. It was called ESPN Universe or something like that, Ultra Package, whatever it is. You can get everything. And a lot of people are saying, okay, they have Spectrum TV or they have Dish Network and stuff like that, or DirecTV, and it comes with it. And I didn't know that. Did you know that?
No, but it does make sense that some of these packages are included with, especially like DirecTV and stuff like that. They do a lot of those package deals. I'm sure I could get one for Xfinity, but I'm not trying to up my bill. I'm completely comfortable just getting my internet from them and then having the apps.
Right.
And I rotate my apps. I don't use I don't always have the same apps, all 12 months of the year. Sometimes I won't get I'll drop Hulu for a few months and pick something else up. It's whatever I want to, I'm a consumer. So it's whatever I want to buy that month. That's what I get. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get WWE coverage. And that's what I told everybody. I said, just relax. Just relax. Everybody take a pill. Nobody's going to get fired. Just because we're not doing WWE, and if we even stop programming, no one's going to be fired. We pivot. We do something else then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what you do as a company. Sometimes these things happen and you got to pivot. You got to change. We're adding football this year. Mayhem Media was never meant to be a wrestling only coverage company. It's supposed to be all entertainment. It was supposed to be movies and TV and sports, and wrestling is just one small facet. We've gotten really hung up in 2025 trying to get the wrestling division going and get our wrestling coverage and our wrestling content going regularly. And that's why I said, listen, guys, Connor's running the wrestling division now. He's going to keep the wrestling episodes going, and I'm going to pivot up and get us into other things, because that's what we have to do if we want to survive. We're not going to survive in the wrestling industry. All right. I have a reputation at this point inside the wrestling community. They know who I am. I have a reputation now. We're not going to make a living inside the wrestling division.
That's great. Because I know you keep asking me to come on your shows, and unfortunately, when you record them, I'm never available. But I appreciate you keep asking me, and I'd love to be part of it. But I just can't commit to the times that you do all your stuff. But I would love to be a guest speaker anytime that I can be on there. I'd love to come on.
Yeah, look on your messenger tonight. I'll be sending you something. I'll be getting together upcoming episodes that don't have dates that I'm going to be looking for guests for, and then we can plan it out with the guests. And then I also have episodes that I'll be releasing, or not releasing, but dates that I'll be releasing on when we are going to shoot episodes, in case anybody would want to join us for those dates.
Well, yeah, we can do, like we talked about this before. We can do different TV shows and different movies that we both have seen. Which seems to be kind of few and far between as well.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll just have to, we just have to take some time to, watch some of those shows, which is also something we want to do. Our Halloween coverage every year, there's always a movie or something that somebody suggests that I've never seen that I usually end up having to watch.
A Halloween movie, really?
We do Halloween all October. Last year we did 5 episodes in October. This year we're only doing 3. We're going to do 1 live episode that's likely going to be on a franchise, and I think, is it Friday the 13th? I think we chose Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Is it Friday the 13th? Yeah, Friday the 13th with Jason. I think we chose that this year for the franchise movies. And then we talk about an individual movie, any individual movie. And then we also try and go, our third episode, which was something we started last year. We try and go with an obscure movie, something not like an A-list movie, something that maybe people haven't seen or something. So yeah, those are the 3 episodes we're planning for Halloween.
Okay. All right. You got to count me out of those because I don't like those kind of movies. They scare me.
I understand. But we got lots. Wait till I send you the list. We got lots of other stuff that we're going to have on the agenda for this fall.
I think Friday the 13th, the only episode I saw, the only one I saw was the very first one. Other than that, I didn't watch any of them.
Yeah. Well, if you're not a horror genre movie guy, then that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
They scare me. They scare me.
And we just did an episode. I just did an episode with somebody on the Boiling Point podcast. I'm a Christian, and my guest was a Christian, and we had a debate about whether or not a Christian could celebrate Halloween.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it was a great episode. Make sure you go check that out. That's on the Boiling Point podcast episode.
Okay. All right, dude. Well, listen, I've been on here for an hour. I'm going to let you go, so I'm going to sign off. But
all right.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Again, you're welcome on my show anytime. You know that. And I'll be on one of your shows one of these days.
Yeah, well, you were on for the watch along. You joined us for the football watch along.
That's right. And I'm not even a football guy, but I did it. Absolutely.
And we're doing it this Monday night. As long as everything works out, I got to make sure that I have access to Monday Night Football. But as long as I have access to Monday Night Football, then this Monday we're going to be shooting Monday Night Football.
Dude, I'm watching Raw. I watch Raw.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Especially this week. Because I won't be able to watch Saturday because I don't have ESPN University, whatever it's called. Universal, whatever.
See? Yep.
So,
all right, man. I'm out of here.
All right, thanks. All right, my buddy JD. And so that's it. I'm going to sign out of here, folks. My name is Andrew, Popcorn Whiskey. Thanks for being here. We talked about freedom of speech today. And if you want to know what we said, go back to the beginning. I talked a lot about myself. Then when JD came on, he basically reinforced everything I said. And we had great back and forth talking about it as well. He brought up some ideas that I didn't have and vice versa. So all kinds of good stuff's there. Check it out. Go back, rewind, do whatever you need to. Popcorn and Whiskey. I'll be on here more frequently. That's the plan. And possibly this weekend. One of these days I will have a set time to do everything, but until then, whatever. And as you know, I do this live, one take, and that's it. So I'm out of here. Mike, I saw your comment, but we were in the middle of discussion. Thanks if you're still watching. Thank you. Good evening to you too, my friend. And that's it. So until next time. Oh, let me have one last swig. Here we go. Cheers. My name is Andrew, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. Until next time. Ciao.